Gonna start some DoorDashing today. As you see, this is the vehicle that I'm dashing in, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but hey, it's what I got, right? So this is my office here to DoorDash in. Okay. I just want to give y'all a shout out, you know what I mean? Started dashing, man, what has it been, like a month? It's been a solid month. What I do want to say is this, there's definitely a lot to it. I've been watching some YouTubers such as DoorDash Diaries, Best Dasher Alive, I believe the brother's name is Santiago. Some of the cats out there that have kind of been doing this for a while, I just want to give them a shout out because some of the tips that they've been putting out there on the web has been a big help for me as far as how to sculpt the DoorDash to do what I needed to do. So I did dash all day yesterday. Used about half a tank, did about 200 miles, 23.3 miles a gallon. Not the best. Obviously, I'm driving a V6, so I'm doing what I can with that. Okay. But I wanted to talk about a couple things as far as different markets, right? Because certain folks will be in urban areas. Where I'm at is a suburb, right? And I'm on the northeast side of San Antonio. And it's very lucrative over here. You know, people actually do tip pretty well here. And that's something that I definitely want to say right out the gate. And I'll show you some of the dashes that I've been doing even over the past few days. You're going to see the tips is actually pretty decent. The sacrifice that you have to make over here where I'm at in my market, you're going to drive longer distances. That's just the bottom line. You're going to have to drive a little bit further out. The good thing about that, though, and how it ties into this market is that where I'm at is connected to two major highways. That branch off and really start to, you know, get you around the outskirts of the city. This order is paying out about 7, maybe a little bit more, but about a 5-mile drive, right? And the reason why I don't mind doing this is because I'm showing the algorithm that I'm willing to play ball. You got to do that, right? That's a major part of, you know, actually getting the job done, keeping your acceptance rate above a certain amount. I keep mine above 50%. I think it's kind of unfair to try to keep it above 70% because DoorDash is going to test you. They're going to see what they can get away with, what they can give you that you'll accept that'll be more efficient on their end for their bottom line, right? So you kind of have to, you know, ping pong back and forth with them so that you can figure out what you actually want to do, right? So here I am at IHOP. Let's go ahead and see what they got. All right, so we went ahead and got that. A little bit of a wait, about a 5-minute wait. Another important part about dashing is knowing your area as good as you can. You know, getting onto the highways can be a tricky thing if traffic starts to pick up. So one of the things that you start to learn as you get more experience with it is how to get workarounds to avoid as many lights as you can. That's one of the best ways to really get the efficiency out of the dash. So say for example, I'm using this intersection here to get onto the highway that's right behind that gas station, and I have to go that way, right? So I could take a right, and then I end up dealing with 2 lights to take the turn around to get onto that highway. But this is an area where as long as I get through this light here, all I got to do is get on this access road, and boom, I have access to the turnaround. I can avoid those other 2 lights. You know what I'm saying? I hope your car has a really good starter on it because golly, with the amount of times you turn the car on and off, that's probably the most worn down device on the car from doing this. If you can avoid rough terrain, if you can really watch and be careful with where you're driving the car on the road, that's obviously what you want to do no matter what you're doing with the car. But even more so on DoorDash because you're just getting so many more miles on your car. Now this car I had bought it at mid last year at 52,000 miles. Since then I've put about 9,000 miles on it, so it is definitely getting its usage. But you know, what's funny is that the car itself has the bumper-to-bumper warranty up until 100,000 miles. years. Obviously, I'm gonna hit 100,000 way before then. But the car's got more. The car's got health insurance. I don't right now, so we know the car is good. If something would go wrong, we pay the deductible. We're good. The car's a workout horse. It's a workhorse. It's ready to go. And really, it's just up to me to just take care of it. This part of the forum is actually not bad. We got Outback Steakhouse, which starts to pick up for dinner. I've been noticing that Mod's Pizza has been getting me some really good orders. So sticking around Mod's Pizza right here is one of my favorite spots to do. I like to post up right here in front of Mod's and Le Madeleine. Again, these are not necessarily, big common chain restaurants, and that's really what you want to do. Is you want to find the restaurants that have a little bit more of a niche, because those tend to have bigger orders, pricier orders. There's a Potbelly. Potbelly is another common one, but Mod's Pizza and Le Madeleine, these have been clutch for me. These two right here. Very commonly do I get orders where I'm getting $10, $15, sometimes even as high as $20. Just for one delivery. And then if you get lucky enough, you may even get a stacked order, which would make that move pretty good. I have a template that I copy at the beginning of my dash, and then if the customer is able to communicate within the app, I'll send them a text message to let them know at the time where I'm picking the food up that I'm on the way. I'll also kindly remind them to leave feedback. I'll say my greeting and things like that. It just adds to the experience to them. I'll do that. If it doesn't let me communicate through the app, then I won't send them anything, because I don't want them to just receive text messages from unknown numbers. If you're able to communicate through the app, it's more convenient. There's no cleanup. You don't have to delete threads or text message lines or anything like that. It's much better that way. So I'll actually do that. And that's really helped get my rating up. Some people say not to communicate with the customer. I'm kind of half and half on it. You know what I'm saying? If it's a decently sized order, I want to let the customer know that I'm focusing on that order. You know what I'm saying? And that, again, adds to their experience. And I've been able to keep my rating, I think it's at a 4.85. I had one bad rating. I think it was because the order got messed up. But that's not going to happen too often. I feel like most of these places kind of have their formula down when it comes to this DoorDash stuff. Le Madeleine, Mod's Pizza, we have Outback Steakhouse here. There's a Chipotle, a Chili's, Charlie's, we got Panda Express, Five Guys, Burgers and Fries. There's a lot going on. Alright, picked up some Mod's Pizza. This is actually a stacked order, and both of the drop-offs are in the same neighborhood, so it's perfect. Yeah, that pizza had anchovies in it.
Do you smell it? That smell. The kind of smelly smell. The smelly smell that smells smelly. Anchovies.
So, yeah, I'm gonna put the moonroof up, you know what I'm saying, and get that smell out of here.
One eternity later.
Like I said, the morning shift, it's not so much about the money in the morning shift rather than you just touching up on your algos. Once you get that algo just right, there's gonna be times where you go into that evening shift where you're not really having to deny a lot of orders at all. As a matter of fact, the other day I went an entire shift and only denied one order, and that's ultimately what you want. Is you want to train the algo to give you more of what you actually will accept. And the app itself is not doing its job if it's not working towards that, right? So some of it is you kind of giving in and just playing ball and doing what DoorDash wants you to do and just be a worker ant and knock out some of those deliveries. And then the other ones is you doing that and then them catching you up to where you want to be as far as your hourly profits and things like that. One thing I also want to mention is that San Antonio, now I know everyone's going to say this about where they live at, but San Antonio and specifically, people here are about their food. They are really about their food, especially out here where I'm at. The pandemic has really opened up the um, the idea of getting food delivered to your house to a whole entire new demographic of people. I grew up right here outside of San Antonio in Converse. A lot of military families, a lot of hardworking people. Right here where I'm at, here behind the Forum, a lot of retired folks that worked hard their entire life, and they understand that hard work goes into everything. So they tend to tip based off of the way that they've experienced life. And that's one thing that I definitely want to take the time to do, is to thank the customers for making this possible. Because to see like an 80-year-old person learn how to use DoorDash and use the apps and figure out how to tip and order the food they want, I'm seeing a lot of that now. And I think the pandemic has really opened people up to that, to make them a little bit more technologically savvy and things like that. So that's actually been quite a boon for the gig market in general. So that's something that I want to mention as well. So right now we at Potbelly's waiting on this $11 order. I was just posted up right in front of the store, so sometimes when you get an order right away, it's going to need to be worked on, and that's all right. I ain't tripping about that. Hopefully we can get a stack, though. Hopefully I get a stack before we leave this building, which would be awesome. But, if it's not, it's fine. It's fine. So, overall, I think that went pretty good. I barely used, for 3 hours, I used less than a quarter of a tank. So that's actually pretty decent. But what I'm hoping to do for the evening is to really start to ramp things up and see those bigger orders. I started to see a couple of them right there at the end. In fact, that last order that I got was a little bit over $11, though it was a little bit further out. I'm still teaching the app to give me more within that $10 to $20 range more consistently, where the tips are better. And over time, I'll also start to shorten the distance a little bit to see what I can get away with, while also still showing them that I'm willing to go that extra mile, right? Or both literally and figuratively. And hopefully it pays off. I went and ordered a catering bag, and I'm going to talk to support about that once I get that in, once I'm past 200 dashes, because I think right now I'm at like 150 or something like that, because I'm still fairly new to it, but I'm racking them up pretty quick. I'm racking up miles pretty quick as well. So, but that's also one of my concerns, is how many miles am I putting on the car, really? Because, if you're averaging between 500 to 1,500 miles a week, goddamn, you're going to put a lot of miles on the car if you're trying to do this full time. And that's not necessarily what I'm trying to do with this, but I am still testing the waters. And though that shift was only 3 hours, I actually didn't put that many miles on the car. Today, less than 40 actually, because I started off with 200 miles. So I did about 40 miles in 3 hours. So the hours were, the orders were actually a bit further apart from each than normal. So the hourly progress there, as far as how much I make per hour, is definitely less. But really, it's more of a grind in the morning. You're still trying to just get on the board for the day, but you're also a little bit more lenient in your expectations, because unless you're getting large catering orders, you're not going to be getting those big heavy orders, because people tend to go all out for dinner, not so much for lunch. Businesses, they tend to go all out for lunch. So hopefully we see some more like that. But sticking with my bread and butter, Madeline, Mods, Potbelly, those that are a little bit more unique, not necessarily all over the city, those types of restaurants are the ones that are my bread and butter. And I'm going to continue to stick with those, because I want the algorithm to know those are the ones I want. Even if I end up having to go a little bit further out, give me more of those. You know what I mean? And I will show them that I'll get these orders knocked out. So, yeah, we'll see how the evening goes. Stay tuned for that.